Good morning. Time to head up to Baltimore Comic Con. It's about a 9-hour drive, so I'm going to get going. Remember, table D20, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Be there. Support Team Mud. All right, love you all. Took a little 20-minute napper, cookie, coffee, back on the highway. I've arrived at the Baltimore Convention Center.
What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you.
Just got through the security gates and am preparing to unload, or I should say waiting to unload. There's a couple cars in front of me, so hopefully it won't take too long. I don't know if they go a car at a time or what's going on. Hopefully I have all the information they need to let me on the floor and unload to set up my table. But it does kind of feel like I'm going inside a prison right now because there's a lot of concrete around me. Not that I would know what that is, but it's kind of freaky still. Okay. Over 9 hours on the road, one pit stop for gas, some snacky poos, and una nap. There was only one destination calling my name. It wasn't those machines. Bada bing, bada boom. Time to take a leak. So this was my first time at a Comic Con convention and my first time tabling. I'd say I started planning my table 3 months prior to the convention. Checked out YouTube videos, social media pages, plus information provided by Baltimore Comic Con gave me plenty of information to prepare my first booth. I was pretty excited too. The track record for Baltimore Comic Con said 15,000 plus, so that was going to be a lot of eyes and ears on Mud Freestone. Today being the first day, really load in, I was really excited to test out my table and soak up the experience. Checking out the convention floor during load in, I was excited to see the booths, the convention size, and what appeared to be a well-organized event from the start. Now being able to park on the same floor as the convention and unload straight to the booth made things easy breezy. Also learned some things for the next time or next trip around the sun. So I definitely will bring a dolly to my next convention. Unfortunately, I was contained to a 6-foot table and didn't need to make too many trips back and forth to my car. There's one issue out, and in the future, 1 through 5, and I'm getting a lot of ideas for merchandise and where to go from here. Now, preparing the table 6 months out gave me plenty of time to make a professional presentation for a first timer. After arriving on the first day, setting things up, I knew the booth was ready, I was ready, and the comic was ready for its first con. There was plenty of space behind the booth to set up what I like to call Fort Mud. After a solid road trip and load in, I was ready to relax and eat some good food. Now the perk of growing up in Baltimore is crashing at my mom's for some amazing food. Plus it's always nice catching up with family and seeing some of the old haunts of Baltimore. To the right is the Baltimore Convention Center. I wanted to give you an idea of the sheer size of the facility. It is the premier location in the Mid-Atlantic region for organizations to host conventions, meetings, banquets, trade shows, and other events. That pyramid-looking building way down on the end is Baltimore's National Aquarium. With a collection of more than 20,000 animals representing 700 plus species, Baltimore's National Aquarium is the city's most visited attraction. Exhibits include a multi-story Atlantic coral reef, an open ocean shark tank, 4D immersive theater, tropical rainforest, a glass pavilion with Australian wildlife, and a mammal pavilion that holds Atlantic bottlenose dolphins. To the left, the unseen location is Power Plant Live, which is an entertainment complex with bars, clubs, restaurants, and arts attractions located 2 blocks north of the Inner Harbor. Although the Children's Museum, Port Discovery is situated in the complex, Power Plant Live really comes alive at night when all of Baltimore's young professionals come out to play. The complex also hosts a wealth of events, including concerts, food festivals, and bar crawls. Something I loved doing as a kid is climbing aboard a historic ship in downtown Baltimore. Something I really like checking out today as well. So instead of a traditional maritime museum, several historic ships are permanently docked in several areas of Baltimore's Inner Harbor. Visitors can climb aboard and experience 4 landmark ships: a U.S. Navy tall ship first launched in 1984, a U.S. Coast Guard light ship from the 1930s, and a submarine that took 2 war patrols in Japan during World War II, and the last ship floating that fought in the attack on Pearl Harbor. Pretty exciting stuff. Lastly, one of my favorite places to visit when I'm in Baltimore is Harbor East. Now, it is an affluent area known for its vibrant dining scene with trendy fusion restaurants and slick bars overlooking the docks. Homey Italian restaurants, delis, and cafes dot the busy streets of nearby Little Italy. The Civil War Museum examines the city's wartime role and links to the Underground Railroad. A harborside promenade leads towards the aquarium and interactive museums at the Inner Harbor. Since its founding nearly 300 years ago, Baltimore has played a key role in creating the American identity. Its inspiring history is shaped by centuries of innovation, extraordinary sights, and a truly diverse culture. It would be impossible and truly unfair if I even tried to identify all the perks of being in Baltimore City, visiting Baltimore City, or living in Baltimore City. There's so much to do here. I would definitely suggest, if you're thinking about it, check out the city. There is something for everyone here, and it is absolutely a beautiful place to be. I love Baltimore. All right, headed down to the Baltimore Convention Center. It's going to be day 1 of Baltimore Comic Con. Got about a 30-minute drive ahead. I'm going to go to the staging lot parking, and then it's about a mile away, the Baltimore Convention Center. I'd like to get there before 12:30. That's when VIPs arrive, and just make sure my booth is just set and ready to go. I set up most last night, and the only issue I'm having right now is the Shopify Go handheld device, accepting credit cards and stuff like that. I will probably switch over to like a Venmo payment system until I get that up and running. Contact support, for whatever reason, isn't great with handling that issue with the Shopify Go, and I've read a lot of forums saying they've had the same issue. When you upgrade to the point of sales with the handheld device via Shopify, it like gives you automatically a PIN, and I've tried to reset it numerous times, and it won't reset in the system, and it won't use the old PIN as well. And is this an issue that I guess Shopify needs to take care of? And that's what I've been told in the forums, but we'll find out. We'll see what mistake I might have made as well, which is very possible. Other than that, I am headed down to Comic-Con. Woo! Walking about a mile from the staging lot to the Baltimore Convention Center. Currently on Washington Street. Got my whole thing of comic books. I got about 80 in there. Be great to sell all of them during this convention. I'll definitely leave it there overnight. I was just bagging them properly last night. Might even get a good little sweat going before Comic Con starts. Baltimore's a pretty place. Okay, definitely building up a sweat. Currently walking through historic Pigtown, which is a small neighborhood in Baltimore City with a big heart. It is one of the most culturally and economically diverse communities in Baltimore. Where I'd like to say people pull together to make great things happen. It is just steps away from the southwest corner of downtown. Places like Camden Yards, M&T Bank Stadium, the B&O Railroad Museum, and of course Inner Harbor. And a 10-minute walk to University of Maryland School and Biotech Park in downtown. Pigtown looks like a pretty cool place to live, shop, play, and visit. Also known as Washington Village, Pigtown definitely has its unique quirks. It seems like a pretty hip neighborhood. I needed to stop by the Brooks Robinson Monument near Camden Yards. Brooks is beloved in Baltimore, and one of my favorite quotes by Brooks is, "If you're not practicing, somebody else is somewhere, and he'll be ready to take your job." Brooks was actually a good friend of my grandfather, Lee Harrison, and I do still have a signed, autographed baseball by Brooks. He actually signed it for me when I was in the hospital about 5 years old. I nearly ripped off my finger with the garage door opener, but that's a whole different story, and here we are at the Baltimore Convention Center. I arrived about an hour and a half early because I wanted to get there before the crowd, before the VIP guests, and make sure my booth was in order. It's also nice talking to booth members in your area to see how much they're charging for comic books, merchandise, t-shirts, and get a good feel. The bonus about being at a convention is one can always reset their prices depending on what everybody else is selling things for.
Like Commando, like Road Force Commando.
It's an overly aggressive Navy SEAL that needs to team up with a socially awkward savant to save the human race from a narcissistic cyborg killing machine. Death came to the lucky ones. Dying with my platoon would have been a great relief. My living hell is knowing what we lost and remembering an oath I failed to keep. This ain't living, and I'll be damned if those machines control me. If this is the end, it's time to get busy fighting.